This is National Chess Master Rats, continuing my video series on the match between my video lessons group and LullabyVisca's group. And this is board 6. Our man is dikankan. He has a win in the draw to share. Let's take a look. Here's the win first. Both players just a little bit over 2,000. Okay, so far so theory. Here White misses a chance to go into the exchange variation. Okay, let me talk about it, give you a little strategy here. Okay, now this is not a threat, okay, because this is a blunder. Black sacrifices his piece. I've actually seen this happen many times recently. I got somebody in it way back in 1973. White has to get back to claim, and he's down a piece. Okay, that after takes 1, 2, thank you. White would play e3. Now this is a threat. Okay, so now black plays c6. Okay, that birds his pawn. Now what happens here? Let me give the basic strategy. I'm just going to play some bad moves to get to the strategy. Okay, so well, actually I can't do it just yet. I want to show both sides. Let's see, let's make this up. Let's develop White's knife. Okay, I'm going to put this here. Okay, I'll just play a few moves, but I'm going to play some bad moves just to give you the strategy, just to show you what I'm talking about. Knight e4, takes. Okay, here's the bad move, because you can take it. But what we have here is the minority attack. Let me back that up a second. On the queen side of the board, White has 3 pawns, Black has 4. On the king side, White has 4 pawns, Black has 3. So what the grandmasters determined well over 100 years ago is something we call the minority attack. You attack with your minority of pawns. And the objective is White wants to advance this pawn here, and Black wants to advance this pawn here. Why? Well, let me show you why. I'll just do it for both sides, okay? Yeah, I know it's hanging, but I want to get there quickly. Okay, here's the basic idea. White will capture. Well, actually, let's wait a minute. Let's talk about White's position. White can capture. If he captures, he gets an isolated queen pawn. Okay? If he doesn't capture, Black will capture, and White will have the backward pawn on the open file. Okay? And it's the same thing on this side of the board. If Black captures, he gets an isolated queen pawn. If he doesn't capture, White will take on this square, and he'll have a backward pawn on the open file. Now, I've never seen a game which both sides conducted this strategy. Yet that's what both sides are supposed to do. So I've never seen a position where both sides had a position like this, or one of them had an isolated queen pawn, and the other one had the backward pawn of the open file. And I've analyzed countless games on the internet, and I have videos up on them where, in one case, neither side knew to start the minority attack. My own experience, back in 1984, I was playing a player around 1950 who I started the minority attack against him on the queen side, and at the moment I shoved his pawn up, he's moving his rook over here and walking into a pin, and then he tries to conduct some silly operations over here on the king side, trying to trick me, and all he ended up doing was pitching a piece. So generally speaking, if you conduct a minority attack and the opponent doesn't, the game will usually be in favor of the one that's doing what they're supposed to do. Now, just on a side note, let me show you. It's just a separate variation since we're talking about minority attack. This is the exchange variation of CurrentPosition. This is not the only way to play it, but it's one of the lines. Let's see, this c3 comes a little earlier. I apologize for hanging this pawn. I just tried to reach the key position. Queen goes here to avoid a later attack from the knight on d7. And both sides castle. And what you have here is you have the minority attack appearing again with colors reversed. Now Black has the minority attack this way, and White has the minority attack this way. So it's kind of interesting. And again, if you get one of these openings, that's your plan, like the minority attack. Anyway, let's reload this so I can erase the notes. And we're going to e3. So the minority attack is not there. And now we're kind of in a semi-trash defense. That's where black is advancing both his pawns. Right now the game looks level. One question might happen is, either side going to end up with an isolated pawn here? Well, if he takes here, he probably will, because black will capture this way and probably have an isolated pawn. See? And hey, that's exactly what happens. But, you know, having an isolated pawn, even though it's a weakness, it's not necessarily a bad thing. White has central pressure on a couple of squares. He has a couple of open files. Well, full open file here, a half open file here. Good squares for his pieces. But as pieces get traded, that isolated pawn becomes weaker and weaker. And black has a, when you're playing against an isolated pawn, you have a three-step process to conduct. It's really easy. 3 words. Restrain, blockade, destroy. First, restrain the pawn from advancing. Because if it advances, it gets traded off. There's no more isolated pawn. It's a target. Also, if it advances, it may have with this pawn back on this square, or maybe this pawn is over here on c7 and this pawn's up on d5. It can cramp black's game. So first step is restrain it. It's been restrained. And the next step would be to blockade, and you could blockade right now. It would cost white the bishop pair if he wants to give black an isolated pawn. He doesn't play here, but let me show you. Okay, knight takes, bishop takes. Now if you take with the queen, you know, white has to give up the bishop. That's not the bishop pair. Now he's in check, and looks like the game is probably even. Maybe white had, you know, this is not a good pawn for black. It's on the color of his bishop, but black does have the bishop with pawns on both sides of the board. But white should have no trouble, or black should have no trouble holding a small advantage here. White should probably be able to hold a draw, but his work could be cut out for him. So let's back it up. Of course, he could take with the knight. Now, this remains an isolated pawn, and this bishop will come into play soon enough. So that might have been a strategy for black to blockade the isolated pawn, but he doesn't. At least not yet. Okay. Now he's got the isolated pawn blockaded. But now, this move kind of defies logic. You know, you had the isolated pawn, now you're going to be unisolated. You know, you're giving this pawn some protection. Strategically, what black wants to do is trade more pieces. Maybe what black should have done was play this. And we, you know, once again we have this, you know, this white went apart with the bishop to give black an isolated pawn. And black went the wrong way here. But anyway, knight d5, castles, and now but it is a backward pawn on the open file, but this is no longer isolated. And this pawn becomes isolated, but it's not really a weakness at this point. It could become one. Now, positions there, this is go ahead, take my pawn, I'll checkmate you. Okay, now, this might have been risky. Let's see. Well, it looks like black has to give up something here. Clearly, if the knight goes back to f6, bishop takes, is going to want a piece. Okay, so black's probably done something wrong. Yeah, the blockade move early is not correct. But clearly white wants to try something along the line of doing this move. Let's see, what about queen c7? Queen c7, now bishop c2, we take the pawn, and if bishop takes, we don't take with the bishop, we take the queen, and white's in trouble here. Oops, we got a hanging piece. Okay, hey. So let's see. So it looks like maybe white's going to get something here. Let's see. You can't take the pawn. You know, obviously you can't take the bishop. Queen takes. White's up a piece. This bishop is loose, but this bishop is loose and this bishop is loose. So what do you want to save? You save this bishop. So just take that bishop. You know, you take my rook, I'll take your rook. Aha. And take the bishop, I take the bishop, black's down 2 pieces. Kaboom. Okay, so something started to go wrong for black here. White's uncorking some possibilities here of conducting an attack. You know, he's not close to having the battery here. You know, he needs 2 moves to set it up, and he needs to get castled. And he's still not setting it up. Now he's in the process of setting it up. So let's try this move. Now we can still come back and do this. And, you know, black's going to have to create weaknesses. So white had some play here. You know. Okay. Let's reload this, get into the right position. So bishop c2, he now plays f5, and you know, like I say, this makes this pawn weak, weakens this square. I could try something crazy like g4. You might regret that. Might expose his. Oh wait, we have a bishop loose here. Okay. Let's see. So he trades. Now, we're going to win the exchange. So, kaboom. White's winning. Little trick here. Threatening mate. If the queen goes to g3, we have a knight e2 check. If the queen goes to f3, bishop c6. I don't know, maybe black has something here. Let's see. He doesn't play bishop c6. Why not? Why didn't he play that move? Does white have to get back the exchange here? Let's see. Okay, d5. Bishop takes. Rook takes. Pawn takes. And they can't take the pawn with check because the knight's covering it. White's up a piece. He can save this knight. He's going to win. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it looks like White's going to win this. But, you know, black still has his tricks down here, which he did play. Let's analyze that. Let's come back. This is how you analyze postal chess. You just, correspondence chess, you just go over the variations. Okay, so he played rook takes c3. And now white has, they could play here. They're still guarding this key square. I don't know, this looks dangerous. He plays h4. We'll come back and look at that. I'm curious about it. There comes bishop c6. Everything's in full attack mode. But there goes the queen. Okay, let's see what's happening here. White's up a rook. Black's got a lot of recovery to do, but he's attacking a knight, a rook, and a bishop. But I think white's going to come out ahead on this. Let's see. Now, if you retreat the knight, he takes the bishop. We just saved the rook. If he takes the rook, we take back with the bishop. So it looks like white's going to come out ahead here. Instead, white just grabs this. Now white's ahead, a rook and a bishop, and black can't recover. He doesn't have enough wood here. And it's an easy win for white now. He's just ahead of rook. Okay, so black didn't calculate this out right. And then the game ends in this position with white winning. Let's come back to queen f3. Okay, bishop c6. And we can go back and try his move, h4. Now let's see. What if we do this? Check. Okay. Now let's see. Black is down a rook here. But he's attacking a rook and he's attacking a knight. Let's see. We'll grab a pawn and attack a bishop while we're at it. Wait, it's white's move. Okay, sorry. Okay, let's save the knight. Let's put it here. Yeah, black's not getting enough here. He's just down. He's just down a piece. you know, kaboom. Unless black can find a way to get this rook here. Let's try that. Okay, threatening mate. Bring the king over. And, oh, this is interesting. King up. Check. Okay, now you dare not go back here. You get mated. Okay, let's try this way and come back. So we got to run this way, huh? Now I think that'll do it. White wins. So amazing how this game just blew up in black's face here. After F5, that weakened the G6 square. So clearly we can't go here. There's this annoying sacrifice. You can't take her. It's a forced mate. So this move in principle is wrong because this knight is covered by this knight. So let's see. Let's try to find a different plan for black here. One of the things I say, if you're not sure what to do, develop a piece. Okay, let's put this queen here. Oops, we might have problems down here. Let's not do that. Let's just put the queen here. Okay, let's see where it goes. Now, I know there's impossible discoveries, but we're trying to find a mate for white. So let's go here. Now, the idea is we want to take here, and if he takes with the knight, we give a mate. Okay? And if he doesn't take with the knight, he takes with the pawn, then we take this and we give a mate. But there's a couple problems. This bishop is hanging. The other problem is it's black's move. Black has time to work out a defense here. Okay, how about if black goes and attacks the queen? Okay, that drives the queen off that diagonal. Okay, now the knight's not protected. Well, to come over here, it can get fun. It can get really wild. In a hurry. Let's see. Now, might have to play here to protect this. I don't know. This is crazy tactical. Let's see. Oh wait, I missed. There's another crazy move here. Let's sack the queen. Okay, where am I going with that? Well, you'll see. Let's see. Pawn takes. Check. Check. Takes. Now it looks like black has pocketed a pawn out of this. Let's not take with the bishop. Let's take with this pawn. Now you can't take this because knight takes knight is going to win a piece. But now the bishop gets trapped. Oh, my goodness. Crazy move, queen takes c3. So, or this knight f4 just might be the resource that that black needed here. Let's put the queen here. Now that takes some of the sting out of this, because if we have to, we can just take that, or we can just take that. So let's see. We're on the knight still. We're not getting tempoed. Knight back here is going to move. Knight back to g6 is going to lose a pawn. Let's see. Maybe this knight move doesn't do much good. But now, we've driven white off the diagonal. If he goes back, we can just repeat the position. That's a possibility. I can't evaluate these things out to perfection, but I can show you, basically how to get started on the analysis, and you just keep going. Now, I could analyze this position for 2 hours. And after the game's over, you can analyze another 2 hours. I don't recommend putting a computer on this to try to solve. The computer would show you the best move right away. I'm sure I've missed, in all my videos, I'm sure I've missed many great moves, but I don't use an engine to analyze because what good does it do me? It'll show me the right move, and I'll never, and moves not to analyze, but you increase your analysis power by looking at other moves. And other moves may work, just not as well as a computer would do it. Okay, so Queen C7. Let's see. So Queen C7, Bishop here. Let's stay away from this. Now, but one thing too, this is not a threat yet because we might at some point lose this. But then we're on this. So let's see. Whose move is it? It's black to play. Let's protect this bishop. Okay, we can also protect this. I'm going to try protecting this. Now, we answer this with this. Okay, now see, now the bishop's protected. But nothing's protecting this guy. Let's see. White to play. Let's take the bishop with check. Oh no, the rook's going to protect it. Okay. We'll take this, bring black's rook to the 7th rank, and then here we go. No, we're not getting anywhere. Doesn't have to take with the knight. Takes here. Black looks better here. White has a permanent weakness on d4, and black's rook is on the 7th rank. Now, white didn't have to bring the rooks down to the 7th rank. So let's refrain from taking it, but black may just go and snatch that pawn. Let's bust open your king position a little bit. I could trade queens anytime too. Let's see. Bring the knight here, forking a couple of pawns. King can come over, and we can set a discovery check. So black would need to trade queens at some point. Let's trade them now. And here comes my idea of a discovery. I don't know if that knight's going anywhere. Let's see, knight here. I don't know, black might survive this. Okay, discovery check. Knight's loose, let's take it. I don't know. Black's on attacking both of white's pawns, so maybe that's the defense for black, was to play queen c7 followed by rook e8, and if white sets up his battery, that's how black defends. Anyway, interesting stuff to look at. Let's bring up the other game, which ended in a draw. Let's see where we go. It's over here. Okay. Stuff on copy. Okay. Look at the final position here. Does white have winning chances here? It's a good question. We'll talk about that when we get there, because I want to see how that arrives. Okay, so we have a Queen's Indian defense. Looks like they're following opening theory. Both sides need to get castled. We're not doing that right now. There he goes. Okay, both sides are castled. Game looks about even. Black has a queenside pawn majority, white has a pawn setter. Now maybe white's trying to do some of the things that his opponent did last game. Or at least not yet. Okay, now we open up this diagonal. White would love to get rid of these pawns. His bishops spring to life. But if you notice, black's bishops are starting to spring to life too. So this could become a very tricky position in a hurry. Okay, now look at that. Those bishops are strong. Okay, what do they call those? The Horowitz bishops. When you have a couple of bishops pointed like that. And blacks have the potential to be strong, but this one's blockaded. So it's white to play. He plays bishop d6 to blockade that pawn. Maybe that's a good idea, but at the same time, it does shut this one in. So white looks a little better here. And then here comes the mate threat. Okay, so now that looks risky. I mean, like, queen here almost seems to force mate. You got black's defense is to give up the exchange. Okay, so right now, we have to say that white is winning this. He's up the exchange. What's the strategy to win? Well, when you're up the exchange, you have the same number of pieces. So let me give you a simple strategy, some simple strategies to follow. Okay, first off, one way to win is you try to trade off all the equivalent pieces, okay? Okay, and here I've highlighted them. If you trade those off, you reach an ending where the rook is stronger than the bishop, and then you win the game, okay? That's one way. The other way is you do have extra material. So you attempt to use your extra material to win more material. And the ideal target of more material would be the enemy king, okay? And then if you win some more material, maybe a pawn or two, and keep the attack open, and you want to try to attack because that's what can force your opponent to have to trade pieces to avoid disaster, but then you get him in the ending. So how should white continue this attack? Okay, first off, let's look at his weaknesses. Okay, we have a pawn here that's twice attacked and not defended at all. So we might just have to jettison that pawn. It's going to take black a long time to mobilize its pawns, but we want to go for the attack. How do we go for the attack? Well, there's two ways I see. One is to try to play h4 and h5 and try to pry the castle position open. The other is to transfer the rook up and over. Let's see which one he picked. Okay, pick that one. Now, potential counterplay here, but only potential, because white's got that covered. And now you pretty much have to go back, and now black's lost the tempo and the queen's come off. And this pawn is also defended. So should black have stopped to grab that pawn? Did he have time to do it since he lost the tempo? No, he doesn't have time. He doesn't have time. Let's see. Let's back this up. So I said it was twice attacked and not defended, but this move defends the pawn and attacks the queen, so he never had time to grab it. Maybe you should come back here right away, but then there's the argument that you're driving the rook over here away from this pawn. Okay, so interesting. We lost the tempo, but nothing's guarding this. But it is guarded in effect by the threat of the pin or skew, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. So it looks like maybe white's playing solid here, but he's got his rook behind a pawn which is blockade. That pawn's not going anywhere, and this bishop is a shut-in piece. We want to trade this bishop for this bishop. White might have felt more success trying to get on the E file, or even challenge for the C file. Let's see how it goes. Okay, counterplay on A3. Back rank threats. And here he says, I'm going to steal your pawn. But I guess there's a reason he doesn't. Let's see, rook takes. We can set up a discovery. Oh, why doesn't he take it? There's no discoveries. There's no discovery here. Let's see, takes. Well, maybe he just didn't like this pawn getting. Yeah, that'll do it. That's pretty deadly. This king can't come back in time. Okay. So he can't take. He brings his king closer so he can free his bishop on d6. Now he takes it. The pawn got all the way to the 7th rank. That's a very potent pawn. Now, I'm not sure if that's the right method here. We have these dangerous pawns here, but let's see. What if you play here? The idea is we want to try to transfer the rook down to c8 with check. That's what we're trying to do. Let's just look at one idea. Now, if black's going to save this game, he needs to get his pawn forward. We can't get to c1 yet, but we can work on that. Let's see. Let's go here to stop this. Oh, he couldn't do it anyway. No, we don't want to go to B3. Let's see, how do you get this work on the C file? It's easier said than done. Well, yeah, I guess we can go here because B3 is, we don't have to do that. We can just take it. Okay, so advance pawn. And here, might as well. So can he survive this? I don't think so. Kaboom. White wins. So black has to play a little defense here. You know, this bishop is shut off from getting to E7. Let's move the other pawn. Okay, A5. Rook here. A4. Rook C2. Now, come back here. This is a problem. Cutting off the king's flight square. Now, I don't know if that works or not, but it's a start. You know, we're playing for a win with white. We're trying to win more material with our extra material. We're still on that path. Okay. So he didn't do that. He played here to trade the bishop. So now, you know, you've got to work on these pawns. Here comes the king to help out. There goes one pawn, but he trades it for the other. Now, let's just move forward a little bit. I'll pause for a second. Again, the idea here is you've got the ending. You want to use the rook to outduel the bishop. But I'm not, you know, I think they gave, you know, white may have given a draw too generously here. Let's see. He's trying to get somewhere with his king, but he's not sure where. They're just kind of going back and forth and call it a draw. But you know, black has some problems here. You know, this pawn is stuck. He only has one weak pawn here. This might be a position where, well, it's a little tricky. The idea is to play G4. Okay, if black ignores this pawn, you're going to take, and he's got two weak pawns. If he takes it, no matter which way he takes it, suddenly the king comes in. Now, yeah, it springs these pawns loose. So maybe